And let's see if we can finish this, the 8th chapter of A Gathering of Gargoyles. I had to cut off the last video early because I am recording with the window open here at Kentley Studios, and there was a siren to interrupt. So Ariel has found one of the slaves, chained up and painted black, and the slave thinks that the reason that she's chained and not tied is so that the beast that has been saving all of these girls from Dark Angel sacrifices can't break through a chain. The painted girl twisted her arm, trying to make her hand small enough to pass through the bands. "He is not my father," she spat. "I am a slave in his house. Can you free me?" Her voice grew desperate again. "Oh, the beast, saving beasts. Someone must have told him, or he would not have used a chain." Ariel tugged with all her strength and rested a moment, tugged again. "What do you know of a beast? Someone told me the village talk, that a monster had come into Zamble to spoil the birds' hunting. It would set me free, they said, but what beast can bite through a chain?" Ariel pulled the ivory dirk from her robe. She pried at one of the links, then sawed at it. The blade's tip snapped. Ariel threw the dirk aside. "The links are welded shut," she said. "Gods help me! Gods help me!" the painted girl sobbed. She cried out suddenly, "Even now he wakes!" Ariel whirled, and abruptly she saw, in the heart of the grove, 30 paces distant, stood a massive tree. Upon one branch crouched something dark. It looked like a bundle of black velvet, as tall as Ariel and nearly as great around. The blighted tree looked almost gray in comparison, for the thing threw back none of Soulstar's white light. It was itself completely shadow. Not even heaven was so dark. It was the black of a dark angel's wings. Ariel felt the blood shrinking beneath her skin. The painted girl tore at her chains. The folded wings low in the tree limb were stirring. "He wakes! He wakes!" the painted girl cried. Soulstar behind them was half set away. The bundle shuddered, paused, then stirred again. Layers of darkness unfolded from it, like the petals of a huge night-blooming flower. The painted girl thrust her wrist into Ariel's grasp. "Break my hand!" she cried. "Force it through!" Ariel found herself powerless to move. The unfolding of those wings fascinated her. 2 of the wings now were fully extended. Another pair, poised, half unfurled. The Dark Angel was turned away. Ariel realized that with a start. It was its back she watched, its face still hidden from the light. She became aware of someone's hands upon her. The painted girl had said something. Ariel shook her head dully, half turned to her. "Even broken, your hand would not pass through." "Cut it off, then!" screamed the girl. Half the Dark Angel's wings were open now, the others beginning to unfold. The girl was groping desperately for something among the leaves. Ariel realized suddenly, like the lifting of a spell, in only a few minutes more Soulstar would set. She turned, saw the painted girl snatching the dagger up, laying her wrist upon the ground and putting the broken blade to it. Ariel stopped and caught her hand. "Hold," she told her. "I have thought of a way." "Heron," she hissed, catching her staff. "Bird on a stick, awake." The heron shivered, let out an outraged squawk, became flesh. "What is the matter?" she cried. "Why are you addressing me by ridiculous names?" The white bird clutched the head of the staff in her toes, flapping for balance. Ariel thrust her closer to the shackle about the painted girl's wrist. "Can you pick a lock?" said Ariel. "You unbarred the gate for us in Talus. Can you open that lock?" The painted girl stared at the heron, her sobs choked into breathless gasps. The heron eyed the shackle's keyhole, began to tap it with her bill. The girl shrieked suddenly. "He stands!" Ariel started, turned. "Hold me steady," the heron snapped. The vampire stood upon the black branch now, its back still to the vanishing sun. The heron put her eye to the keyhole. The stink of rotten matter grew smothering. The Icarus fanned and flexed its pinions. Ariel wondered suddenly where her gargoyle had gone, and where was the strange beast the old gatherer had spoken of. Soulstar sank lower, barely a fingernail above the hills. Oceanus peered, pale blue, through the curled black trees. She heard a scratching sound. The staff tipped in her hands. She saw the heron giving her neck an odd, lunging twist. The tip of her beak in the keyhole turned. The painted girl tore the shackle from her wrist. Soulstar set, The sky above turned black as nothing. The orchard around them was drenched in shade. The vampire upon the far tree turned, lit now with the ghost light of Oceanus and the stars. Ariel had only one glimpse of pale garments on a young man's form, a face savage with hunger, and black, colorless eyes. The painted girl screamed, bolted from Ariel. Ariel wheeled to follow, but the vampire was already flying. The wind of its wings flattened her garments against her, billowed her hair. Ariel threw herself flat to the ground, hoping it must miss her, wheel around for another try. Even as she did so, the rhythm of its wings changed, steadied. It hovered now above her in the air. Ariel scrambled to her knees, caught up her staff. The Icarus stooped. Ariel swung. Her staff struck nothing, for the witch's son had drawn back suddenly. A form, two forms, had leapt out of the grove. They sprang over Ariel, grayling, clamping the dark angel's forearm in its teeth. The other beast, gray like the first, seized the vampire's leg in its taloned paws. Two pairs of skinny wings thrashed upon its shoulders. A collar of brass encircled its throat. "Catwing!" gasped Ariel. "Gargoyle! Catwing!" The winged beast sank stump teeth into the vampire's leg. The Icarus screamed, inhumanely shrill, and shook its attackers off as though they were nothing. Grayling fell, but the winged beast recovered in the air, gaunt pinions straining. It seized one of the dark angel's wings. Ariel held to her side, gasping for breath. Her fall had knocked the wind from her. Nearby, the grayling rolled, gibbering, gathered its fantastically bony limbs, and sprang. Something was pulling at her. Ariel staggered to her feet. "Fly! Fly!" the painted girl shouted. Ariel sprinted away with her into the trees. Cat snarls, yelpings, and bird-like screams rose in the distance above them. The girl dragged her till Ariel regained her stride. But then it was the girl who clung to Ariel, gasping and stumbling. They left the orchard suddenly, burst onto open ground. Earthlight washed around them, pale, pale blue. The stench of blight faded. Ariel gulped the clean air. Her staff felt lighter suddenly. She stared at it, realized she had been carrying it, her pack as well. The heron launched into the air, skimming ahead of them, down slope toward another vale. "Follow," she cried, "I can find the best path," and sailed low, whiter than wood smoke, in the pale earth shine. And that's the end of chapter 8. Sorry that there was a siren again. If you come to this and feel like that was a little bit bumpy of a reading, right now I've got time to re-record it if needs must, but if you're okay with it, I'm okay with it too.